Hey everyone, I am Srinivasan, software developer. We are looking into SQLite Database tutorial. In this video, I am going to explain um, what is keys. Explain about keys. So we have two keys in SQL Relational Database Management System, and SQLite is also a RDBMS. So we will have two keys. One is primary key and another one is foreign key. These two key constraints uh, we are going to create and use these two key constraints to relate the tables. Okay, and why do we need to create keys on the tables on the in the table on a particular column? So there is a each key is a rule. Each key constraint is a rule that defines what value allowed in a certain column of the table. So for that we need to create a keys actually. Okay, and also we can relate easily by using these two keys. So for that I am going to explain about these keys. uh, I'm going to use the simple schema, yeah, which is a company schema actually. So schema is nothing but schema um, is an entity with some relations. That's what we call schema, right? So let's assume a person is Henry. His name is Henry and he owns three companies, and he want to maintain some data, and he want to maintain all the data of the companies of these companies uh, using management software. And even and he approached a particular a developer to create that management software, and he explained um, about the company working process and um, what are all the features he wants in that particular management software. So after that, the developer has started to develop the software, and to store and access the data, he will need to create a database, right? So after he created the database, so he should create tables to store that particular data of the company, right? So tables, what all the tables he will create. So yeah, so in this case the Henry has companies, right? So for that it's a company management software. So for that we need to create a we need to create a company schema. And to explain this, so I just created simple schema. This is a simple schema, not um, you know not a huge one. And yeah, I just created five tables to explain how to create primary key and foreign key to relate uh, these tables together. And yeah, the first one is companies table. The companies table, so company will have a company table, and in the table, so we will the companies table has some columns. Yeah, these are all the columns. This is not all the columns in real time, and the company will have, right? So I just created only few columns for demonstration purpose on all the tables. And yeah, and I created the ID column in which I'm going to create the primary key. Okay, so yeah, let's get into this. So I'm going to create this table using SQLite Manager. So this is the syntax to create this is a statement to create a table, right? So now I'm going to create a primary key primary key constraint on the ID column of the company's table, because in future I'm going to create more tables, and I'm going to relate those tables with company's table, right? So for that I'm going to create a primary key. So once you create the primary key, this column will not allow a duplicate values. So um, once you created the primary key, it also means uh, it will not allow a it should be a it will be a unique value. If you try to save the same value, so we will get an error, right, when we execute the query, when we insert the row actually. So yeah, now this is the syntax, and I'm going to execute to create this companies table. Yeah, executed properly. So if I execute this query, so we will have a companies table in the database. So now the second one is so branch. So in each company we will have a branch, or we don't have, right? So uh, the company in this case, so we will have a each company has branch, one branch or more than one branch. So for that I created branches table, and I just want to make a relation between these two columns. Okay, so for that I created some columns on the branches table. So you can see ID, company ID, name, address, dot dot. So these are all the simple columns. Okay, only a few columns, as I said earlier, and also I am going to create a company ID column to make a relation, okay, between companies and branches table. Okay, so this is the column we are going to reference. This is the column on which we are going to create the foreign key to reference the uh, ID column of the companies table. Okay, so whenever we insert a row on branches, so we need to mention the ID of the company, the branch is from which company. Actually we need to mention that. That's what it means actually. And yeah, so for that I'm going to create a branch table. So you can see here, so as I said, um, so this is a branches table, and again I'm going to create a primary key on ID column of the branches table. This primary key will be used for another table to make connection, to make a relation uh, between branches and upcoming tables. Okay, so at, in the real time the branches table can be a child table, also can be a parent table for another upcoming table. Okay, so for that I just want to create the primary key on the ID column, and again to relate, um, I'm going to create a foreign key constraint on the company ID. Okay, so for that we need to write some code. Constraint, the name of the constraint is company branch f key. Okay, and the constraint name is foreign key. So inside the bracket we need to mention the column, on which column we are going to create the foreign key to relate the table, to relate to reference the particular tab ID from the particular table, right? So we are referencing companies table. From companies table, in the companies table we have a ID column. We are going to reference the ID column to make a relation between these two tables actually. Okay, so this is the column, this is the column which is created in the same table. Okay, and this one is a table parent table, uh, to which we are going to create the connection. Okay, to which we are going to relate. Actually, on the parent table, which column we are going to reference. Actually, that's what it means. So if I execute, the query is executed properly without any error. So now we can see we have two tables, companies and branches. So two tables are created um, um, along with the relation uh, by using a primary key and foreign key actually. And the next one, as I told, you can see child for this branch table is child for company, child for company's table, and parent for departments and sales. So this can also be a parent table for upcoming tables. Okay, so upcoming tables is I just mentioned those tables. One is departments and another one is sales of the branch. Okay, and we are going to relate these three tables using a primary key and foreign key by creating primary key and foreign key on uh, particular columns from these three tables actually. Okay, so for that I created primary key on branch already. So this id column will be used to make a relation between uh, these three tables actually. Okay, the branches table is also related with companies table. Okay, that's different part actually. And after that we are creating the two um, tables uh, tables which are referencing the branches table actually. Okay, and yeah, in branch we will have a departments. In branches, in single branch, so we will have departments. And again this is the table for sales. Okay, so branch sales. Okay, so that's what these two tables. And this department table is a child for branches table, and parent for employees. So employees will be created, employees will be is a upcoming table. I will explain. And you can see in the companies table, in the first table I just related only a single table called branches, right? So now I'm going to relate the branches table with more than one table. Okay, so we can relate more than one table with the same id. Okay, more than one. So I just created two. If you want to relate branches table with more than two tables, so you can create another table and you can relate using primary and foreign keys constraints. And yeah, uh, so I want to create a departments table. So now I'm going to copy and paste the same code to create the foreign key. And now branch, okay, so I just renamed it. And the id, so the name of the column is branch id. Okay, so you can give whatever name you want in your case. Okay, and we are referencing which table? Branches table, because departments table will come under branches table only. Okay, in this schema, I'm talking about in this schema, right? Sorry, id, we are referencing that this id column, um, which is available in the branches table, right? That's what it means actually. So this is the column we just created in the same table, right? So on which we are going to create a foreign key to relate that branch to relate the ID from the branch table. Okay, so so yeah, and also it executed properly, also created. So we have three tables, and again we are going to create sales table. Yeah, so I'm sure I'm not going to create any table after sales. So for I'm not going to create any child table for sales table. So do we need to create a uh, primary key on the particular column from the sales table? Yeah, it's up to you. You can create a primary key, or you can create the table without primary key. But if you want to store the data, if you want to store the unique value on the particular column from the sales table, so you need to create unique constraint or primary key. Okay, so I just want to create a primary key. I would also always recommend to uh, create a primary key on a particular column in a single table. Okay, on a table. And now also we are going to create a foreign key to make a relation between sales table and branch table. Okay, so just want to rename it branch sales foreign key. The ID is same. Yeah, the name of the column is same what we already created for departments. And we are referencing the parent table. Actually the parent table is branch, and we are going to reference the particular column from the parent table. The column is ID column. Okay, ID column. So the departments, sorry, we are creating the sales table, right? If I execute, it executes properly. And yeah, now we have four tables, and we are going to create the final one, which is employees table. Okay, in the single department, each department has many employees, right? To uh, save the data of the employees, so the developer will create a employees table also. Okay, so these are all the simple columns in which sorry, this is all the simple column we are going to create on the employees table. And we are going to relate, again we are going to relate the departments and employees table with ID of the department. Okay, ID of the department, so it will be a primary key. So it will have this column will have a primary key, and we are going to create a foreign key on department ID in employees table. Okay, so now for that I'm going to create a department employee, and the name of the column is department ID, and we are going to reference the uh, parent table. The parent table is department. Actually under the departments we are creating the employees table, and we are going to reference the particular reference the table um, in the table. So which column we are going to reference? We are going to reference the ID column, right? Yeah, I'm going to execute. The query is executed properly now. So we have a 5 tables and we created the schema actually. Okay, so this is how we can create a simple schema with some tables, and we also make a relation between created tables using primary key and foreign keys. Yeah, so now the developer created the schema and he started to he started to create the remaining he will create the remaining work, and he will complete the software, and he will install the machine uh, he will install the computer, right. So the user will insert all the data, and those data will be stored in a associated tables, particular tables in the schema, right. So this is how we can create key constraints on the tables to make a relations between them in SQLite. So I hope you can understand this video tutorial, and if you like this video, you can share, uh, subscribe my channel, and like this video if you like. And yeah, thank you. I'll come up with a different topic in the next video. Thank you, friends.